Welcome to the Social Living Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Green. I have my co-host, Jamal Lawrence. How you doing, Jam?
I'm good. I'm good.
Just
Man.
turn you up. So yeah, go on.
Okay, now I just said I'm good, man. An enjoyable week, busy, but yeah, it's been an enjoyable one. How's things with you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. A lot of changes. Been an
Mm.
enjoyable week as well. A lot of changes. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next month's gonna be like, really. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
yeah, man. But it's good, man. And I'm looking forward to there's an event I'm going to actually 2 weeks time. So do you remember me talking to you about earn your leisure or earn your leisure, as they say in
Mm.
America?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
in
yeah.
London.
Oh, sick.
They're in London, going to their event. So networking event should be good. So we're talking about the agency, talking about the vodka as well. So yeah,
Mm.
man, I'm looking forward to that still. So it should be good.
No, that'd be good. That'd be a nice little link up.
Trust me. How's your trip to London?
Good, man. Really good. First time I've been on set at a photo shoot that big, so it was interesting to see what goes on, the behind the scenes and all of that. Surprisingly, the people the agency that was shooting the photo shoot was super young. Like they've got to be under, but everyone was probably under 25, which was
Oh,
pretty good
really?
to see that they've got that contract, because the photo shoot would have cost like 150K
Wow.
for a day's photo shoot.
Mm.
But yeah, just to see the levels that go into it, and the, I guess I call it the model or the ambassador that we used, how the effort she goes into to get the shots right. And yeah, it's a long day. She makes her money if that makes sense, because it's a long day of constant playing up to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like it got to about 12, 1, and I was like, yeah, I'm tired just for
Yeah.
doing behind the scenes stuff. Let's just kind of be in front of the camera. But yeah, no, it's a good experience. Real good
It's sick,
experience.
man. It's important to let the audience know what goes into social, because some people really don't understand. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like all these campaigns and things that go, especially when you get to high level stuff. Like it's not just as simple as take a picture on your phone and do it. It's proper
Mm.
photo shoots. It's proper trying to recreate certain things and trying to get certain visions that people have onto the screen. Like it's almost like a movie set to a certain extent.
It was, yeah. It was like it was it was like we were shooting a music video in terms of the production that was behind it and the level of equipment. I've seen cameras and lighting I've never seen like as big as cars. Like it was crazy.
Like 8K,
Yeah,
16K
yeah,
shots.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, no, that's good, man. Good experience for you. So yeah, you probably learned a lot, man. Learned a lot. What's it called? Let's dive into it, man. Episode 26. Can't believe we're 26 weeks in terms of episodes anyway. Man, a lot has happened on social this week.
Yeah, it's been a busy one.
It's a very busy one, especially on the back end of our last week. You know, the back end of last week where we were talking about Mason Greenwood, cancel culture, and here we are again with a few more different cases. I don't know if you have seen the news today specifically. So Adidas have already come out and said, you know what, we don't work with Kurt Zouma anymore. You know,
Yeah, I saw the news. Can't lie, I was expecting it. I feel like brands now, I guess for their own safety, have to distance themselves to kind of protect the brand, I guess. When instances like this happen, I feel like the most politically correct thing to do is for them to distance themselves, and that keeps their brand safe. But yeah, whether that's right or wrong is, I feel like that's where that the brand responsibility is at the moment.
It's crazy. Do you think so? Just for the audience who doesn't know, so Kurt Zouma is a ex-Chelsea player, current West Ham football player, who recently has been, I guess, in the press on trending on social media, due to a video of him basically abusing the cat. I'm just gonna, yeah, it's abusing the cat. Obviously, it's down to everybody's discretion what their opinion is on the situation. But yeah, he's abusing the cat in the video, and I believe his brother posted it. I think it was on the weekend. I think it was on Sunday, and then it just goes viral. Everyone's just like trying to cancel basically Kurt Zouma. Yesterday, West Ham had a game. People were calling for his name then. They couldn't believe he started the game. They felt as if like he shouldn't, I guess, shouldn't be allowed to play for this video. I do have the video loaded actually. Let me just quickly share my screen, and then we can have a look at this video, because
it's just stupid on everyone's behalf. Everyone involved is just stupid. It's not even stupid. It's stupid. The fact that the brother was filming it. Okay,
yeah.
one, the fact that Kurt Zouma was acting that way anyway. The fact that the brother filmed it, and then three, the fact that he uploaded it onto social media. Just none of it makes sense.
It's all major L's.
Yeah.
I would say. So quick 40-second video. I'm just gonna play this clip. If you are listening to Spotify, just head over to YouTube and you'll have a quick look at this video that we have. So someone's just kicked the cat. I think it is just kicked the cat. Then they throw, I guess, a slipper at the cat. And then you got a little boy here holding the cat, and then someone slaps the cat. And that's basically nuts and bolts of the video. I don't know, Jam. Like, what?
And it's just hours. And it just don't make no sense. It's just full of stupidness and foolishness. I guess Kurt Zouma shouldn't have done it.
It's immature, isn't it?
It is immature for a grown man of, I don't know how old he is, 26, 27, to be acting that way and record and finding it funny. I guess it's just, yeah, like you said, it's just immature.
I agree. Like, it's very immature, but at the same time, I don't think that it deserves for him to be cancelled. I don't know if everyone feels the same way. There was another video, I saw some reactions on Twitter. I think somebody said, "This is worse than racism."
You got to name him as well. It was Chris Kirkland. Was it Chris Kirkland?
Was that Chris Kirkland? Oh my god!
Yeah. It was the ex. I think it was Stoke. I think he played for Stoke.
Yeah, he paid for. Yeah, I think he paid for Stoke or Fulham. Or
There's
something
a few
like
clubs.
that.
One of those. Yeah.
This is worse than racism. What?
I reckon he knew after he said that. He thought, "Oh God, here we go."
Yeah. You're just gonna get backlash though. You didn't.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, how? This is not worse than racism. This is something. Someone's done something very childish. To his own cats. He's obviously playing with the cats, but it's in a very malicious way. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't really play with your cats that way. But you know, I feel like we've all, if you have ever had a cat, I sometimes play with my dog in a certain way. I'm not necessarily bullying them per se, but like a nudge, or do you know what I mean? It's the same way they might play with us. They scratch, they this, they whatever. It's just that kind of like playful, rough playfulness. Obviously, this is a bit more malicious than that, so I'm not going to condone that type of behavior. But he's made a mistake and he's apologized for it, and I don't think he's going to do that again. Like, I just feel like this has all happened, the backlash alone, I think that's enough of a punishment personally. I saw talk of him facing up to 4 years in jail. I don't think that's justice.
I think this cancel culture, because yes, he should be punished, but he shouldn't be cancelled. Like, people are saying that he needs to be sacked and get him out of the club and etc. But it's not. Yeah, that's not the case. I actually love Twitter and social media when it comes to situations like this, because you get to see the whole story, get to see other people's opinions, and you can kind of make your own thoughts and opinions around it. and someone said, I think they brought Luis Suarez into the situation when there was that whole kick out campaign, and he said something to Patrice Evra.
Oh yeah.
And when he bit Ivanovic, I think it might have been, he's saying there was more uproar from Zouma.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Than there was back then. I know at that time no one was calling for Luis Suarez to be sacked or whatever. It was just he should be punished. But now Zuma's done this. It's like it's worse than biting someone or being racist to fellow players. Like, yeah, it's all a bit mad.
So then this kind of takes us into a different conversation slightly, but where Kirkland was saying that this is bigger than racism, isn't that kind of evident then? Because we've seen Suarez do some things, we've seen John Terry say some things or whatever, and the punishments haven't been this loud. But a cat gets harmed, so it's his own cat as well. It's not like somebody else's cat or anything. It's like it's his own cat, and the uproar is just absolutely unbelievable. To a certain extent, I feel like it seems like it's like louder than Mason Greenwood's a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like that whole situation, this just seems like it's more in my face. I was listening to LBC yesterday, and they were saying that the fans at the ground they were screaming like NSPCA, and they were trying to agitate Zouma, saying he should be sacked and all this kind of stuff, like at the ground.
I like that though. I think that's part of football. I think that's what I expect, like that banterous element of it, and whether it was serious or not, I feel like Zouma should expect that.
Yeah. No, what? Yeah, like I don't doubt that. Like 100%, like that can happen. But I feel like aren't these all things that it's like a slap on the wrist? I feel like that's what he needs, a slap on the wrist, isn't it? It's like that's all that, like that's what that is to me anyway. That's just my opinion. I just think that's a slap on the wrist. All right, let's leave it. You know, like this doesn't need to go to court. This doesn't mean that he needs to like lose, sponsorships. Because I feel like if you have a level of understanding, you understand that he's just being stupid. And I don't know. It's not that he might have a problem. Like, does he need to go on a course of like anti-animal cruelty or something like that? I don't think so. I think he knows what he done, and he was just being stupid. And like general public do stupid things all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's just that because he's in the power of like I guess he's in the public eye, he's being scrutinized.
I think that's it. I think it's the status of him, and whether it's wrong or right, I feel like they're not made scapegoats, but they're there to being an example and be a positive example. And when they do mess up or do something wrong, I feel like the consequences are a lot worse than Joe Blogs.
Yeah.
So, like on one hand, I get it and I get the response, but then on the other hand, I think it is a bit harsh. But yeah, it depends who's viewing the video. Me as a person that's not had animals or grew up with animals, I've probably not been as triggered by it than someone that has cats or dogs or whatever. And what they saw in the video might have been something malicious or wrong. They wouldn't do that to their cat. But I guess it depends on who's viewing it and what their views are. And I can see both sides. It's just what do people want from this? It's not cancelling someone. It's maybe a punishment, and then you move on.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we have to understand what that punishment needs to be, and I feel like I don't know what anybody else's opinions are. I haven't really looked, apart from obviously the Kirkland and just Twitter just trying to cancel him. In terms of the other side, I don't know if there's any other opinions. For me, the club fining him for this is fair enough. 2.5 grand? I think they said it was.
I think I saw 2 weeks' wages.
Huh? Was that 2 weeks' wages?
I saw 2 weeks' wages somewhere.
All right, okay. If it's 2 weeks' wages, then fair enough. Again, like that's enough in my eyes. And he could donate to the NSPCA.
Yeah. I think that's a fair trade-off.
Exactly that. But 4 years prison time. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And people are doing a lot more and going away for less. Which actually takes me to the Tinder Swindler. Have you seen that?
I've watched half, maybe not, maybe the first maybe 20-25 minutes of it. I
I
need to
won't
finish off.
I won't spoil it for you then.
I've
But
seen enough spoilers. So yeah, you can carry on.
okay, cool. So obviously he faced it. Spoiler alert, Tinder Swindler on Netflix. I'm about to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it. So pause this, go watch it, come back and listen to this. Um so Tinder Swindler, fraud con artist, putting loads of girls in debt, and he ended up facing 15 months in jail, and he came out as a free man after 5 months. And he is wrecking people's lives financially, and it's like almost seen as not a crime. And Kurt Zouma here kicked the cat, and they want to put him down for 4 years in jail. Doesn't weigh up. Like, this doesn't weigh up in it. But interesting documentary, the the Tinder Swindler. Just go watch it and let me know what you think. I think some people will find it inspirational, and I think others will find like will be kind of gobsmacked by what's happened, and this person should go to jail and things like that. But con artists are very smart. They are they are very, very smart, and it almost feels like a Scarface situation where some people watch Scarface, and he becomes a kingpin, right? Everything he's doing is wrong in terms of like selling drugs, getting involved in guns and crimes or whatever. But the story itself, from like nothing to something, is kind of what people like to see. And I felt like that when I saw this Tinder Swindler. Not to say that I want to be the Tinder Swindler or anything like that, but he's just like from I guess like a normal background, not very well off, and he's found his way to kind of live such a luxury life, albeit being wrong. If it was put to good use, or if he could do it the right way, he could, I guess it could have more benefits. It could be more beneficial to him, but he's on the wrong path. But if he was on the right path, there's nothing that can stop this guy, because what he's doing is very smart. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess that's my opinion on that. I don't want to make it look like I'm like encouraging con artists and fraudsters or anything like that. But yeah, it was a very interesting documentary. So yeah, definitely go check that out. Another cancel culture moment that came up this past week, probably last 2 weeks, is Joe Rogan. Have you seen anything on Joe Rogan?
Again, I've seen that. I think did Spotify initially say they weren't gonna ban him from the platform, but then they
Yeah.
removed like 74 episodes of his podcast or something like that. And I'm not too sure what's happened after that. That's what I've heard so far.
Yeah, so again, I don't think I have like 360 on the whole situation. From what I know is that I guess there's a clip of him talking about COVID and what he took, and then the powers that be, your Twitters, your Instagrams, they're like trying to censor him for misinformation. Um, and he's kind of come out and kind of defended it. It's like, look, I'm not saying I have a cure for COVID. I'm not saying COVID is this. There are people who work within the medical profession who have recommended this, and I've done this, and others can do it too. I don't see anything wrong with that, but obviously, with him having an influence, they are like ready to kind of take him down. And then this past week, there's like clips of him saying the N word. So now he's deemed a racist. I've watched Joe Rogan for like the last 5 years. He's not a racist. Like, based on,
When were the clips from?
so
Were
the
they
clips are
recent
like
clips?
from years ago. I believe it's him doing a intimate stand-up. Um and he's saying the N-word, and it sounds is terrible. Like, it's a moment of stupidity, and he can hold his hands up. Back then he said it, but he wouldn't say this in modern day. Do you know what I mean? And he knows that it was stupid. But again, it's like another attack on the powers that be. to kind of dim his light, to, you know, knock him down for whatever reason. They're not a part of he's not a part of that agenda. So, right, it's time for you to get knocked down or whatever. And people are ready to kind of jump on that, I guess. So, yeah, another cancel culture moment. And again, I think for Joe Rogan, my thing is just have your own platform. Nobody can't kick you off your own platform, man. This is your if you have your own platform. Again, I understand there's censorships on social media and stuff like that, and it's difficult, but Joe Rogan's got a big enough platform to have his own platform. People listen. He gives so much value, or offers so much value in all his podcast episodes for people. If you're a follower of Joe Rogan, you can see past all this cancel culture stuff. Because you just know it's like, this is nonsense. But again, to the general public who might not even listen to him or don't know much about him, they're like ready to cancel him and not support it. Like, they don't want to see him. So yeah.
What do you reckon his next move will be following this? Do you reckon he comes off Spotify? What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I heard that he's offered to, I think he's trying to leave Spotify. That's what I read. So yeah, I think it's definitely time. He's made his millions, and yeah, definitely time. So I would just have my own platform, do it in a different way. This could mean like a different experience. You might not need to rely on the likes of YouTube. It could be Patreon. Patreon will kick off. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, he can make it. He's got a big enough community to be able to manage a network, and I think, yeah, that's what he should do. Have it all under his own thing, and then just kind of go from there. So I think that's what he should do, really.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what his next move is. Because yeah, like, he has the power in his hands. His audience will go wherever he is. So
yeah, big time, big time. All right, next on my docket, we got Hugo Boss, the big boss, Hugo and Boss. I saw a couple of weeks ago, I did a post actually on my personal profile about Cabby Lame, the guy who goes on TikTok. Yeah, man, he's killing it right now, isn't it? Like,
that Boss check.
Yeah,
that must have been a healthy check.
big shout out to Hugo Boss. So obviously Hugo Boss, they're doing a rebrand at the moment, big 2022 campaign, and they're working with a huge amount of I guess influences, and obviously Cabby Lane being kind of a surprise one. I think he's probably the quietest man on TikTok and got the most followers, right? Or second most following, second biggest following on TikTok, and all he does is that. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, then you've been living under a rock for the last throughout the whole pandemic. And yeah, he signed a deal with Hugo Boss, so you can see him in their clothes in their current campaign. But I did want to kind of evaluate Hugo Boss's kind of like rebrand, what they've been doing, their approach. I see that they're trying to hit like two different demographics. So they've been trying to hit like I guess there's the Hugo side, which is more like your
sophisticated almost.
Yeah, I was gonna say like millennials, and then like the Boss side, which is more like the what's it called? The Boss, like Gen Z, I think. So yeah, I think they're trying to hit like two different. Yeah, so the Hugo side is Gen Z, and then the Boss is for the millennials. So they're trying to like divvy it out, and then they've got different influences to kind of hit both sides. So yeah, but in terms of fashion, this is your bag, Jam. So
so it's interesting because they had like their rebrand, I'm gonna say around October time, and they basically shot we can try and look at this later, but they shot a campaign in I think it might be in a baseball stadium, and they had loads of influencers, models, actresses, musicians come out in like a catwalk kind of theme and show off their clothes, which from a creative standpoint looked sick. Like it caught my eye, and I kind of got the concept, and I was sharing it with the team, and the team liked it as well. But I don't think it got the reach they hoped. So it was interesting to see like step 2 or phase 2 of it, and they kind of, I guess, stripped it back, taken the money that they had creatively from this campaign they had in October, and put it towards a campaign that was actually just based on reach, getting the right talent in terms of like influencers, models, actresses, sports stars in their clothes, and getting that message out there about the rebrand, and it's worked for them. Like they've made it. It's been such a simple approach, but they've just piled and put money into it that everyone's become aware of it.
Yeah,
Because
no,
the clothing that they promoted it isn't anything game changing. It's been like basic tees, hoodies, jumpers with the logo.
on trend, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's kind of done it for them. That's helped change the perception almost of the brand. And I want to say overnight, but it's not been overnight, but over a short period of time.
Yeah, for me, like I did, like, see, when you said October, never saw it, never saw anything. Do you know what I mean? But again, I'm not really in that world. But when Cabby Lame came into the picture, that's where it caught my eye, and it was like, oh, hashtag be your own boss, and I thought, wow, yo, Cabby Lane has got he's got a Hugo Boss deal. Wow, that's massive. Do you know what I mean? That's because I see this guy all the time. He's doing record numbers on TikTok. And for him to get a deal like that, it's like, wow, okay, cool. And then it also just shows that, okay, high-end fashion brands can actually like dabble into these types of influences, because you would never associate him with fashion. And now that unifies two different worlds, and it also opens up a new audience for Hugo Boss that never had access to before. I thought that was it. To me, that alone in itself, I got it and understood it. So I thought, yeah, that second activation that you're talking about has definitely had the biggest influence.
It shows the power of influence marketing. Really, a lot of people say it's dead or it's dying, but they've used that as their main drive or their main channel, and it's blown for them. Like before, like you said, to see a guy like him kind of get a deal with Hugo Boss, which is high end. It's a high end brand. It's a luxury brand. It's unheard of before. Before we used to see it with, I guess, I don't know what to call him. I guess people like him that have kind of blown on social media by doing something simple, or before it might be something humorous or something silly, like the Ferdy guy. What's his name? What did he do? Ferdy. His phrase, the guy that hit his head on the car. Why you coming from?
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. That's it. Don't go anywhere. He was the first person that kind of blew and got like brand deals from this social media game. And before it was just like the likes of Boohoo, like fast fashion brands that were on it and saw the value in it. But now we're seeing bigger brands like the Hugo Bosses kind of take that stance into the social media world and kind of own it and changing their perception that way. But it's good to see, man. It's good to see. It makes everything a bit more inclusive, and you've seen him like not go up against, but work alongside Anthony Joshua, Kylie Jenner. Like, these are mega stars, and it'd be interesting to see who's had that most traction, because I'm sure he'll be up there in the numbers.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And it's choosing, like there's so much power in choosing that right person as well. Like you mentioned it before. I know we've had discussions on this, like away from the podcast, but like as a brand, sometimes like you gotta try and hit like the different kind of types of influences as well. So you have like your micro influences, then you have your kind of like bigger influences who you can have probably on a bigger retainer, because they actually have an influence. Like they're literally, they can make your brand pop straight away. And I think like something like someone like Cabby Lane has that globally. Do you know what I mean? And it'll be interesting to see how much he actually gets paid compared to like Anthony Joshua. Like to me, they're almost on the same level in terms of like I guess the name, but people maybe not. Let me not. That sounds like a really bold statement. That about I don't
I
reckon.
don't think so, though. I think, like you said, he is a global like TikToker, and the fact that he doesn't speak kind of works in his favor because he can appeal to every market because
Yeah,
it's just gestures. So
yeah.
we've got a global audience that are tapped into him, rather as AJ might be mainly UK with US and maybe parts of Africa that are paying attention. But yeah, so
But
I
then
wouldn't say
you might think
big.
with Anthony Joshua, you might think Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
But with Cabby Lane, you don't think Hugo Boss. But I think like it's two different demographics. So whether Hugo is more for like Gen Z, I think that's the part that maybe Cabby Lane is more targeted for, like that younger Gen Z. Where the millennials, that's more Anthony Joshua. I feel like you know what I mean. So that's why I was like, okay, it might be slightly different, but those that Gen Z are now gonna know about Hugo Boss because I don't think Gen Z are like when they're not gonna think of Hugo Boss. Do you know what I mean? I
No.
feel like it's not on their lips. Like it's a much older audience in my head anyway.
No,
So
yeah, no, for sure, and that's the kind of area they've always dabbled in. Is that plus 35 audience, I guess, the guys with disposable income, high earning jobs. But now they've made themselves a bit more appealing to the younger audience. I say this, but I've not looked at the prices of their clothing because that'll be another stumbling block to see if they've adjusted their pricing to hit the audience they're looking to go after. So if they still got £250 for a hoodie, it's gonna limit the impact it has in terms of generating sales. Like the awareness is there. They've done the awareness part. I guess phase 3 almost is generating sales from this rebrand. So it'll be interesting to see how that does for them and how the price point becomes an issue or not.
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see that go. I think we should definitely touch back on that in a couple of months and see how it went. But I like this approach of Hugo Boss. It's definitely bold. I know that they've had like 100 million euros of marketing spend to kind of go towards this big push, and it's interesting as well because this takes me on to my next topic where we're about to touch on basically today's episode, being like NFTs. And they did like a TikTok challenge where it's called Boss Moves, and basically the winners of this kind of like Boss Moves challenge on TikTok would win an NFT jacket. And that's again another new approach, a brand like Hugo Boss associating themselves with NFTs. Associating yourself with NFTs now, not so sure. But obviously back maybe when was it, like 12 weeks ago when we were talking about it, as you could check episode 12 where we were talking about NFTs and maybe why you want to dabble into it. I think so much has changed since the last time we spoke about NFTs, and it's almost now getting bad press as opposed to good press. And everybody and their mum is talking about NFTs right now.
It's strange, you know. It's almost nowadays in 2022, things can't stay underground almost. Like nothing is just underground. As soon as it hits social media, like you said, within 12 weeks, it can blow and become part of normality and the general public. Like I said, we got mums talking about NFTs now, which is mad. But yeah, it's interesting to see where it's gone because, like I said, like 12 weeks ago, you were kind of educating us all about NFTs and where you saw the potential, and now it's like it's gone in a different direction. And
See, the worst thing is I still see the potential in it, especially the technology and the cryptocurrency that's behind it. I still see that. But I also mentioned in that same episode that technology is still going to get innovated on. So whether it's the NFT products itself that will take off, I'm not sure, but it will definitely be an innovation on top of that will make that change or take us into a new direction. Obviously right now it's an evil business almost right now because everyone's jumped onto it. So if you did check out episode 12 of the podcast, we spoke about how there was like a social responsibility, and I liked Gary Vaynerchuk's approach to this. He didn't want to talk about a certain project. He didn't want to talk about certain things because he knew everybody would just go and rush onto this and inflate NFTs in a negative way, right? He may have taken control of that, but then there's other people who have influence who have kind of just gone, I bought this NFTs. If you're in the football world, people like John Terry's talking about NFTs. Like, what are you doing? Why are you talking about NFTs? Like on his Twitter, he's talking about just bought this NFT, and I think it's one of the Bored Ape ones. And you're like, what is he doing? And then Reece James talks about buying an NFT. Jack Grealish is talking about they own this NFT. Half of
Joe
Twitter,
Willock. Yeah.
Joe
Joe
Willock,
Willock as well. Yeah.
like half of Twitter's profile pictures are NFTs that they don't even own. Do you know what I mean? My picture looked like an NFT for. I had to take it down. I was like, I'm not associating with this anymore. This is ridiculous. I had to change it, and I was just like, this is all getting a bad name right now. Like, let's not get it twisted. People like Jack Grealish, Joe Willock, Reece James, John Terry, I'm pretty certain they don't know much about NFTs. They're being paid to post, just like any influencer would, about a certain a collection of NFTs that are, most of them probably worth nothing. Some might be worth some money, like in terms of like actually has a value, but there's no real core value. So there's a lot of scams that are happening right now in NFTs. There's different moves that people are doing. One example is like a rug pull, which is what people are calling it, where you build hype around a certain NFT collection, and then once the whole collection has been sold or a portion of it has been sold, so what people are doing is they either sell out the whole collection, which could be 10,000, or you sell like part of the collection. So like you might put out like 100 and then say, all right, this is just like a pre-launch to the rest of the collection, sell those at a higher price because it's like the first rare ones. And then what happens is the owners of these NFTs or whatever, they just disappear, and then there's like no more marketing about it, no nothing. It's all gone. You're like, whoa, what just happened? They all disappeared. And obviously, with cryptocurrencies, with NFTs, a lot of these things can be done anonymously. So it's like it's an all anonymous game. So you don't even know the people behind it. And where I saw the value was like, if there was a certain artist or community that you actually follow and you actually know these people, or you're a part of this community, it's another great way to kind of connect with that community. So I know I mentioned it with Tanika and her business. If you're a musician, if you're an artist, you might have a community of people who are willing to purchase your NFTs just to support you. But what also is happening is that people are using this as a way to make a quick buck. So if we just do quick maths, right? A simple NFT collection, something like CryptoPunks, right? It's got 10,000 like different variations. So there's 10,000 versions of this NFT, right? So someone can just do one image, and then they can have slight different variations, one eye open, one eye closed, left hand up, right hand up, whatever it might be. All those, and then they do different backgrounds. That can all be done by code. That now is no longer like art. You're just using code to generate pictures, simple JPEGs, right? And then if you're smart enough, or I guess, if you have the know-how when it comes to marketing, you can market this, right? You can purchase influencers to say, look, this NFT collection is about to be the new big thing. We've seen the likes of Reece James do it, Jack Grealish, John Terry. They're all pushing certain NFTs. I'm not to say that their NFTs are scams. I don't know, but it looks scammy when you're just suddenly talking about NFTs, and it's like no evidence that you even know what you're talking about.
It'd be interesting to see if there's any backlash from this. Because I guess once you get these people with that status, once money starts getting lost, they'll be attached to that loss of money, that loss of earnings, or wherever it's come from. And because, like you said, it's an anonymous game. They're the face of these NFTs. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of backlash comes of that if it does work out to be a scam.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens. Like, especially with their ones. I don't know if their ones are being scammed. Their ones seem to be the ones that are really high end that your average Joe can't actually afford. So it just looks like, oh, this is just a rich people's game. If you got some money, all right, I'll buy this NFT for 30,000 and $30,000, sorry, or £30,000 or whatever. And we'll see. It might make me 2.5 million in a couple of weeks. But either way, that's just change for you. Do you know what I mean? But it builds hype, and it might make people like ourselves feel as if, oh, we can't even purchase that. You know what I mean? And then I might not be able to purchase that NFT, but what I might do is, oh, somebody else is talking about this NFT that's going to be on the rise. I can actually afford this one. And it might be like £350. £350 times 10,000 is £3.5 million. That's how much some of these scam artists are making.
Crazy.
Imagine
opportunities. They seen the hole and they ran with it. Because, like you said, 12 weeks ago, I didn't see this coming.
I didn't see the scams coming. Gary Vaynerchuk probably saw it coming because I heard about him talking about that responsibility, and that just made sense to me. But again, and everyone's talking about it, that means it's not it. That is like, it's a simple thing. It's not the it's not the time. It's not the time to invest technically, because everyone's hyping about it. It's super like it's going to be a bubble, just like how Bitcoin was, where there was a time where it just went through the roof.
Was that last summer? Maybe, or like a year ago?
Yeah, I think last summer. It definitely was last summer. Yeah, it went through the roof, and then I think it did again prior, maybe 4 years earlier to that as well. It went through the roof, and I can't lie. Like I bought Bitcoin a long time ago, and when it does these bubbles, it's great for me because it's like, oh, I can just take more out and I can distribute into other things. So it's like, this is great. But I didn't buy during the bubble. But the bubble helps me because I can make the money. So it's like I want it to be volatile because I get to make the money. But if you're thinking of investing at a time when everybody else is investing, this doesn't make any sense.
The wrong time. Yeah, it's the wrong time to be throwing your money at it.
So when it's on its way down and it's tanking, that's probably when you should buy. And you do it in like with something that you can afford to lose, I should say, and then try and enjoy the labels when NFTs come back up again. And now, like, because there's NFTs and they're some are on different blockchains or different cryptocurrencies. So things like Ethereum, things like Bitcoin, some of these things are not actually good for the planet overall. So if you do your research, there might be a resurgence again in like a couple of years' time when it's NFTs, but now these are NFTs that are better for the planet. Then all those other ones are gonna just tank. You know what I mean?
We saw. I think it might be in the summer again, where Elon Musk tweeted about his reserves on how sustainable. I think it might be. What was the crypto?
Is it Dogecoin?
So it might be in Dogecoin was, yeah, and then it just plummeted. So yeah, be interesting to see. Like this is your area, so like all my knowledge has come from you almost. So it's been good. It's been good to kind of get educated on that, and even like 12 weeks ago to see the rise of NFTs, and to see where it is now, and where that might be in the summer. So I feel like the hype is only gonna increase. And when you start seeing your Jimmies and those type of influencers shouting about it, it's not it. It's not it.
Yeah, it's not it, 100%. And people really need to stay clear of some of these. Like, I don't know if you had any like these people like DMing you, like, look, you need to get involved in this NFT collection. I remember when we used to record on stereo, and people were some people were commenting about their NFT collection that they had, and I was like, what is going on? There's too much hype around this, and everyone's saying that their NFT is about to be the next NFT to go to millions. And but you can purchase it now for $5, $10, whatever. Uh, and people are spending so much money to try and hold something because they want that lottery ticket. That is definitely like a dream come true. And I know Nipsey Hussle spoke about this. I know I like to quote Nipsey Hussle a lot, but he talks about like the gold rush that they had in California, or was it San Francisco? I think it was. And everyone was moving to West Coast to try and get some gold. But the people who made the most money were the people who sold the shovels. It wasn't the it wasn't the people who came for the gold. Do you know what I mean? You sold the shovels, you're making the money. And that's what this feels like right now. It's the people giving you the NFTs to hold. They're the ones making the money. It's not the people who are holding the NFTs. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to be careful about like certain approaches and be understanding of certain things. That doesn't mean don't invest in NFTs. I'm not saying that, but if you're like wanting to support a local artist, a local baker, you could support our podcast or whatever. We're releasing NFTs just to raise funds for our podcast. You can support that. You know us, you know exactly the wallets we'll be using, the marketplaces that we'll be using. You can do that and you can support. NFTs can be used for that, and that won't change. But if you're trying to use NFTs to make money and get rich quick, you're in the wrong place. You're gonna get scammed. Your heart, it's almost like your heart's just not even in the right place. Because you're just gonna get scammed. And I can't lie, so gone.
I was just going to say, it's like with everything, like do make sure you do a research before you start putting your hard-earned money into these things, because you need to be educated before you set your expectations almost, because that's where the scammings happen and you end up losing a lot of earnings. So yeah, just make sure people do their research into these stuff before it's too late.
Do your due diligence and have a look at what it is you're purchasing. The person you're talking to, do you even trust them? This takes me back to the the Tinder Swindler. Like he was able to build trust in women in like less than 2 months. And some people are building trust in people really quickly through the internet. Just because like, oh, John Terry, he was DMing John Terry. It's like, yo, that's not enough. That's not enough to make me part ways with like £350 to buy an NFT I know nothing about. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's I'm willing to lose it, then yeah, maybe go ahead. But when you lose it, you can't complain because you knew what you're kind of getting into. It's a risk. So yeah, man, I think that's it really for me in terms of like the evil side of NFTs, because yeah, it's stepped up this last couple of weeks, and I'm just like, nah. We've seen it. Hey, Hugo Boss has just released a NFT. Have a look. It's Hugo Boss. That might be worth owning. Who knows? Take part in the challenge. Own it.
Where do you see the NFT space going within like the next year? How do you see it planning out?
In the next year, I'm gonna stick to my guns and my instincts when it comes to I feel like the whole world's really focusing on this like carbon footprint thing, and it seems to be everyone's trying to go green and stuff. And I think that coins or cryptocurrencies that have really low emissions, I think they're gonna be the focus behind NFTs kind of going forward. So it'd be interesting to see where that kind of goes. So I think there'll be a focus on kind of I know Elon Musk, one of his I think Tesla are supporting one cryptocurrency, and that cryptocurrency there, that carbon footprint just for that between transactions is minimal. It's the lowest out of almost all the cryptocurrencies that are out there that I know of anyway, especially the mainstream ones. So Elon Musk is ahead of the curve, I think, with that. So I think that's going to impact the NFT world big. I feel like if you own an NFT and it's worth millions now, but it's on a chain that's like requires so many servers that are just killing the planet, that could potentially kill a lot of things, and especially with like Gen Z as they age, and I feel like that they seem to be super conscious about the earth and all these things. I feel like it's gonna have a negative impact. So don't hold it for too long. If you're gonna make your money, make it, get in, get out. That's it. Don't hold that for too long.
Have you got your eyes on anything at the moment?
Only my own collections, man. So I'm really thinking about kind of like campaigning a few things. So a couple collections. I would like to get more people involved in NFTs, but only as a community. So like anyone who kind of follows the Social Living podcast, it would be good for them to kind of support the podcast using NFTs, so they could get extra content, they could get extra podcast episodes that are unreleased anywhere else. It's only if you have the NFT they can listen to it. So things like that, that's what I'm more interested in. I don't have any interest I have no interest in buying an NFT to own one.
You're not in that consumer mindset at the moment.
Nah, I just straight creating NFTs. I've considered like doing marketing on a certain NFT just to make money, because when I hear the maths of, okay, I get a collection, use some code, create 10,000 NFTs. All right, if I sell that for £150, that's 1.5 million. Yeah, that makes sense. That's instant scale, and I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I should try to do that, but ethically, morally, like I shouldn't do that. If you know what I mean, because I know it doesn't actually have any value. I just created it just for the sake of creating it, just to make money. But again, the world of marketing is like that, right? A lot of people use fluff words. They say things. I read. I had a Red Bull today because I was mad tired. Right. I read the on the front of the can, and it says, "This revitalizes your body and your mind." Never have I been revitalized by Red Bull ever. And who knows? They might not want to sponsor this show ever. I don't care. But man, like that's nonsense. Do you know what I mean? But it's marketing, isn't it? So it's difficult, man. Because sometimes I think about the industry we work in, and I'm like, what am I actually putting out into this world? Because we understand how everything works, but then there's an element where it feels like, oh, it's just like slightly conning people a little bit. I don't like that. You could say big sale, 70% off. No prices have changed. It's things like that. So yeah, man. What about you, man? Have you thought about any NFTs, anything that's caught your eye, anything you actually like, you think is actually quite cool?
I think a lot of what I've seen, like the footballers share visually, they look like cool pieces of art to collect. But it's not necessarily something that I don't think I'm in. Like I said, I don't think I'm in that consumer mindset yet. I'm not deep in it enough to start spending my money or putting my money towards different NFTs and different collections. So I guess my exposure to it is seeing the people I follow, I guess the people with influence, talking about it and sharing their collections. But yeah, I'm not in that consumer mindset yet to start putting my money into it. One, I've not dived deep into the space, I've not done enough research. And two, like you said, it's the rise of it seems a bit too quick for me, so I'm a bit hesitant to kind of put my cash where the collections are. But yeah, that could change in a year's time. But
Yeah, man, it'd be interesting to see, man. I think we should definitely try and work together in putting something together for our listeners, putting out like an NFT collection where people could support us. It could be like donations, it could be whatever, and then it just help maybe the podcast get to a new stage, new guests, things like that. So Yeah, I think we could definitely do that, and then who knows, that could be your first NFT that you even own yourself. So
That's a good
yeah,
point.
yeah, I think that would definitely be good. So today's hot seat question, you ready for this one, Jam?
Hit me.
Last week was a mare. I can't even lie. Like, I watched back onto what we were talking about. It was like, I don't know. It was like we were tired. It was like,
It must have been, yeah.
So
Tiredness
hopefully
is over.
hopefully we can get this one right. So today's hot seat question is: would you rather be happy and content but not achieve much, or never be satisfied or achieve and achieve a lot?
Them ones. So I've been thinking about this through the episode, and strange enough, my answer's changed. When you
Oh,
first,
really?
can you get the question back up?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just gonna edit that quick. Sorry, technical difficulties. All right, there we go. Boom.
Yeah, I want to make sure we get this right, because like the last episode, I was saying all sorts. So, yeah. At the start of the episode, when I first saw the question, I was kind of leaning towards the end. So never satisfied, but achieved a lot in terms of like legacy and stuff like that. But then I also think there's value in living a more simple life that is based around happiness, and that could just be, in my head, I've got Isla Hobos in Mexico. It's living on the beach, simple, happy life. But I might not have achieved much, but might have a little house, a little shack, got my own food, living off the land. And that could be enough. I think that could be enough for me.
So
I think,
then, is that like, it depends? I guess the difference here is what you perceive as achieving, because being on whole box and being in Mexico and being on a private island is amazing. But that could also be an achievement in itself, because you've basically achieved a way of like almost like living away from the pressures of society.
It's interesting, yeah, because I think within society we attach money to achievements. So achievements are kind of seen as like it has to have a monetary value almost, whether that's a new car, new job, new house, new watch, or whatever that might be. It might feel like, yeah, I've got this status symbol and this is I'm achieving, I'm successful and stuff like that. But I guess, yeah, like you said, achievements, like you said, might be escaping that society, escaping those norms and living on your own terms, living off the land. That's an achievement in itself. So I think I'm still gonna say I'd rather be happy and content than not achieve much. I think that's gonna be my answer in terms of if I can live a simpler life. But then I don't think I'm naturally inclined like that, so I don't know if I'm just lying. Yeah, that's what I want my answer to be, but I don't think I couldn't be content just chilling, not striving for more to achieve more.
Do you think? I think naturally as humans, sometimes, maybe not saying naturally as humans, because there's a whole bunch of people who are just happy and content, but they're just comfortable. But if that's what you want to be, then that's what you're achieving, isn't it? Like you want to be comfortable. When I think happy and content, sometimes I just think comfortable, and sometimes when you're comfortable, you're not necessarily learning anything. So you could potentially talk to like people who are retired and what they think, and when they're retired, they feel like they've achieved all this stuff before, but once they're retired and there's nothing more to kind of achieve, they feel like, okay, I had a holiday for 2 weeks and it's like, now what?
I think that's why I'd be, especially at this stage of my life, I keep chopping and changing my answer. But yeah, again, I think what I and the vision of being happy and content but not achieving anything sounds good, but in terms of like my personality and what I want from life, I think it is being able to achieve more, even if I'm not satisfied with what I've achieved. I think that's again. I think that's what we all strive. Well, that's what I think we're striving to do, is do more than maybe what our parents have done, or what society thinks we can do. And even if that doesn't come with satisfaction, I think I'm happy with that. Like if I'm able to live a life where I can leave things for Elias, or and stuff like that. Like I think I won't. I don't know, because then you might be content with that. That might be your content. I don't know. I think I'm sticking with my answer. I buzzed it in.
So what? That you going with
Yeah,
the latter?
never satisfied, but achieved a lot. Just thinking long term and what I can give back to people around me and stuff like that.
I agree. I think when I feel like my answer is the same. I want to be. I don't think I want to be satisfied. I think naturally I'm that way inclined. That you get one car, you're like, okay, next car. You buy a house, you're like, okay, next house. You start a business, you might, okay, I made 10,000 1 month. Okay, cool, 20,000. Or even if you're not like, you don't want to make 20,000, you might make 10,000. Then it's like, okay, cool, next business. What am I making now? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's always that new challenge. And I think it's important to do that only because I just think that changes things to you. It gives you experiences, and I think that's just what life is about, isn't it? It's that those experiences. I always end up taking this really deep, but I think for me, you want to push new boundaries. So like, imagine we just thought, okay, the world is flat. We wouldn't be seeking to try and figure out the world is round. Let's say, oh, you know what, like, as a society, like, what I always like when I think of never being satisfied, I always think about Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Like, Elon Musk, well, Jeff Bezos, he ran a bookshop. He's now flying to trying to find different planets, trying to go out of space. You know what I'm saying? That epitomizes never being satisfied.
He's pushing those boundaries,
hitting those boundaries. He started a bookshop to now being in everybody's living room with Amazon Prime, and he's got everyone's addresses, he's got deliveries. You know what I mean? To then Elon Musk, being one of the higher ups in PayPal. That's just a financial, like, obviously, financial services. But he's now providing 5G around the world with satellites. He's digging holes to build tunnels to create like underground highways. That type of never being satisfied is amazing. Like, it's just, to me, it's like, I feel like you will achieve things that you never thought you would be able to. And I think I feel like that's just got to be what life is about, isn't it? I get it. People are going to be happy and content with what they have, and I think you should always be happy and content. Or I think you should always be grateful. You look back, you're grateful for what you have. But I'm grateful for this right now, but I'm going here. Grateful for this, and I'm going here. I guarantee that your mind will keep ticking for longer, if you do that. Because I feel like as soon as you're happy and just content, I think that's where you start your decline.
No, I think so. And yeah, I think you shared something on LinkedIn, or so, I don't know where I've seen it, but I think it was, I saw your name attached to it. About there was like on the left hand side there was 100 blocks, and then there was a man, and on the right hand side there was like 6 blocks, and the blocks on the left hand side kind of symbolize what you've achieved so far. And then on the right hand side, it was 6 blocks that you kind of look at as like the stumbling blocks, almost like the hurdles you can't get across. And I think that kind of alludes to what we're talking about. We want to do more and keep pushing, and we will come to these bolts almost. It's finding a way to kind of go through it and not being content with not just looking back and being, okay, well, I've done this, I can chill out now, but kind of what's next, what can I overcome next. And I think that's how I've kind of lived my life so far. And I don't see that settling down, which is good and bad, because you wanna progress, but I often don't think about how far I've come, and I kind of focus on how far I am away from my next step almost. And yeah, it's finding that balance, I guess.
I think sometimes there's a balance, isn't it? So when you do feel to that point of where you might feel down because you have to organize the blocks in front of you and you don't quite know how you're going to do that, you can look at the blocks you have organized, and it's like, wow, I have achieved to come like so far. I have come so far, and that you can just use that as inspiration to go get these blocks done. You know what I mean? And I think, yeah, like that's an important balance to have. And I know exactly the post you're talking about, man. Again, Stephen Bartlett, I keep shouting him out. Hopefully one day we can get him on the podcast. Because yeah, like he puts out a lot of information, and yeah, that one definitely rang true. Because I feel like for example, with the agency, for example, I probably say I've been comfortable for a good couple months, but that's been affecting me because I know that I need to do more. Do you know what I mean? And now that's a harder thing to kind of come out of because I've been so comfortable. So I'm like, okay, I need to take this next step. But sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what step I need to take. But you know, we'll see it and we'll look back. Same with the podcast. We'll look back. You know, we've achieved so much. You know, we tried different platforms and now we're here. Do you know what I mean? I even got a message. We released last week's episode on Monday and got a message yesterday like, bro, I really enjoyed this podcast. It was really good, the one about cancel culture. So again, check it out, episode 25. So yeah.
No, it's good to hear, man. It's good to get that feedback as well, because I feel like we've been doing this for a long time now. I think when we look back on Stereo, I think our first episode was last July.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it's seeing and getting that feedback really helps us kind of keep ticking along and striving for more, I guess. Then there's people out there giving us feedback and enjoying the episodes. And yeah, if anyone does have any feedback, just hit us up. Our handles are on the screen. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, man, hit us up, man. We're friendly people. And yeah, man, open to even do other talks, conversations, classroom stuff, presentations, all that kind of stuff. So we're open to doing a lot more stuff, man. It's time to like really dive into the community and take it to that next step. I won't forget us, you know, the first couple episodes in, and it's like my mic's down or your mic's down, you know, you have to turn, you know what I mean? But now it's like it's better, way better, you know, way more organized and stuff like that. So yeah, man, we gotta give ourselves our flowers when it's time. So yeah, man. But yeah, man, let's wrap that up, man. NFTs, be aware, man. There's an evil business of NFTs out there. Cancel culture. I see you. We probably have to do like a donkey of the week or something with this cancel culture stuff. Because yeah, every week there seems to be something. And shout out to, I guess what, Cabby Lane, Hugo Boss. So yeah, big shout out to him. And yeah, man, I go by the name of Julian Green, and my co-host Jamal Lawrence, man. We out, man.